All right, welcome back. It's good to be with you today. I want to talk to you briefly about how to raise your testosterone, okay? And I'm going to have a little cup of coffee here while we talk. So, testosterone, it is the male sex hormone, and it gives us energy, it gives us drive, it gives us focus. It helps to preserve and build lean muscle. It helps us to utilize body fat as an energy source. Testosterone and growth hormone are the two primary hormones that produce um, masculinity. They're the male sex hormones, okay? Women have testosterone and growth hormone too, but not as much. Okay, so testosterone specifically is the male hormone, and it's going down. It's going down in our culture. Okay, why is that? Why is it going down? That's a good question, and it's beyond the scope of this video. There's a lot of reasons why it's going down. Okay, I mean the environment. We have many more birth control pills and medications being washed down the water system. Society has started to vilify masculinity in general, which I'll talk more about. So we've gone from this idea of virtuous manhood to now all men are evil. This kind of silliness, which luckily not everyone's bought into, but I love coffee. But anyway, that's part of it. Okay, so men are being taught to that they're inherently wrong, that there's something wrong with them, that they should feel shame, that they should be ashamed. Okay, and that's is equally silly as the sort of macho, fake testosterone kind of stuff. Okay, so not all men need to be the same, but it's good to have more testosterone because you'll have more energy, you'll have more focus, you'll have more drive, okay? So again, there's a lot of different reasons why it's going down. We don't have time to go through all of those today, but I'm just going to go through and I'm going to give you more than 11 reasons pretty quickly, or 11 ways rather, to boost your testosterone. Number one, eat more zinc, okay? Eat more zinc. And how can you get zinc? You can get it through oysters, red meat. I wrote down a couple things: oatmeal, almonds, crab meat, different types of fish, beans, and yogurt and cheese. Okay, so those are the things you can do to boost your zinc, or you can take a supplement. Okay, but that's very good for boosting your testosterone. Testosterone gives you energy, gives you leanness. It helps you to perform better and feel better. So those are some good things to eat for that. Number two, you can have more sex. Okay, now I'm not going to elaborate too much on that. That's a different topic for a different time. But the truth is, the more sex you have, the higher your testosterone will be. Okay, so that's a fact. Weight training. Okay, weight training is very good because it boosts your testosterone. It's a signal to the brain to release testosterone. What type of weight training? That's a good question. Heavier weight training actually boosts testosterone more because of the effect that it has on the brain. Okay, so you don't always have to train heavy, but some heavy training is probably good because it does boost your testosterone. Deep breathing is actually good for boosting your testosterone because of the way it helps you to lower cortisol. And if you lower cortisol, your growth hormone and testosterone will go up. Okay. Now this is an interesting one, and you won't find this on many lists. But arguing. Okay. Now why arguing? Now a lot of people think arguing is bad, but I don't, because when I argue, I'm not trying to hurt someone or embarrass someone or humiliate someone. I care enough to argue. So if I don't argue, that's actually worse than if I do, because if I argue, that means I care. One of the best books I've ever read is called How to Argue and Win Every Time by Jerry Spence. Trial lawyer in America, he never lost a case. Okay, one of the things that Jerry talks about is how being willing to argue is basically being willing to eliminate shame. It's basically saying, I'm okay. You're not going to shame me. I'm going to argue for what I believe in. And so arguing allows us to really be true to who we are. Now, this is not nitpicking over silly things. It's not sweating petty things. Okay, it's basically being willing to state your opinion and being willing to care. Okay, and that's a very aggressive way to go through life. And to me, if you don't argue, that just means you're dead inside. So arguing can be a good thing. It means you care. Okay. Now, what about reading? Okay, reading. This is another interesting one. These are a couple of my favorites. That's part of my philosophy. Learning and reading. Okay, which really two different things, but reading is part of learning. But if you read and you learn something, you can have this very sort of orgasmic experience. I don't know about you, but whenever I'm reading a really good book and whenever I learn something new, it's like I create all these new connections in my brain, and that basically creates this huge burst of energy and excitement. Okay, it's very orgasmic. It may seem like an odd comparison, but it really is. It's like a new growth, a new experience. It's a bit of ecstasy there. So reading, playing sports, okay, boost your testosterone because it's competition. Any other kind of competition, playing games. Now, what about the things you can avoid? This is what we talked a little bit about earlier. Okay, what about avoiding plastics, like avoiding heated plastics, drinking things out of heated plastics, touching receipts? That black stuff that is on receipts actually boosts your female sex hormones, or it boosts the estrogen hormones in your body. And so you want to avoid, or at least wash your hands after you touch things like that. Okay, so avoid drinking out of plastics and avoid touching those receipts, or wash your hands afterwards. Okay. Also, avoid nonsense. I mean, let's be honest. Half of the stuff that we see and encounter on a day-to-day basis, cry bullies, pathological empathy, all this stuff where people try to manipulate each other and play these games. Avoiding these things can be very liberating. It can boost your testosterone, because anytime you get caught up in silliness, or when you get caught up touching these plastics and receipts, your testosterone can go down. Okay, now what about high intensity interval training? We talked a little bit on this blog and website. That's good. We talked a little bit about that before, but high intensity interval training is very, very good because it lowers your body fat. Someone who has lower body fat in general has higher testosterone. Interval training really boosts your growth hormone as well, which is a slightly different subject, but those are very important things. Now, this is another one. This one's very important, and I think this is a great tragedy. We need to get together in tribes of men, okay? And this, women, if you're watching this and you want to boost your testosterone, that's fine too. I don't have a problem with that. But in general, I believe this video will probably be being watched by more men who want to boost the male sex hormone. But if we get together in groups of men, what do? Okay, well, we push each other. We have fun. We tease each other. We push each other to be better. Okay, a couple of the greatest experiences of my life have been being a competitive weightlifter, playing high school football, as well as going through boot camp in the Army. Any type of tribal experiences you can have with other men are great because you push each other and you cut out all the silliness. Okay. Every man does not have to be the same, but anytime we can get together with other men to tell the truth, I think that's a good thing because we're pushing each other. Iron sharpens iron, right? A great saying. So those are the things. Eat more zinc, have more sex, engage in weight training, do deep breathing, argue more, care more, be willing to fight for what you believe in, read and learn something new, play a sport, compete in games or anything else, or in your career for that matter. Avoid heated plastics and receipts, avoid silliness and nonsense, and then also do some interval training and get together and live in community with some other men and push each other. These are 11 things you can do to boost your testosterone. And if you think of any other ones, let me know. I always enjoy being with you. Scott Godwin, movementandmeaning.com, scottgodwin.net. If you like the videos, if you like the blog, pass it on. And I'm getting more organized. I'm getting better at this stuff. So I'll talk to you soon.